going on in the region, please give a very, very warm welcome for the General Manager of Connect here in the Sultanate of Oman. Ashley Roberts is with us.
Thanks, Etna. I hope everyone can hear me all right. And thank you for those that have remained behind. We're a bit behind time, so we'll consolidate this somewhat. This session leads really nicely into the session that we've had from His Highness that just joined us. And obviously in the case of that session, His Highness was very much focusing on the opportunities within the Sultanate of Oman. An individual business leader locally, I know there is a vast opportunity within the Sultanate, but I'm acutely aware that across the region, there is huge opportunity for the global exhibition industry as a whole. So the GCC region hosts some of the largest exhibitions in the world across a plethora of vertical markets, from energy, construction, food, hospitality, and technology. Back in 2021, Expo 2020 took place in Dubai as the world began to emerge from the global pandemic, and it really cemented and reinforced and highlighted the importance of events, of exhibitions, their role in supporting regional and the global economy. In just a few days, we're going to see the start of the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022, that Michael will certainly be talking about a little bit more. This is a huge opportunity for the region. It's the first time an event of that magnitude has taken place in the region, and that is going to leave a long-term legacy, not just for the state of Qatar, but for the region as a whole. Many of the world's leading exhibition organisers, some here present today, already have a footprint across the region. Some have significant footprint with some of the leading global exhibitions amongst the GCC nations as well. Back in 2019, the UFI Global Exhibition Barometer estimated that the region accounted for gross revenues in excess of $1.3 billion. So that is gross revenue specific to exhibition organisers, and it doesn't account for the peripheral industries and economic areas that it also supports as well. And due to its political stability, economic opportunities, that is expected to grow significantly in this coming years. So the GCC, which stands for the Gulf Cooperation Council, is a region very much rich in culture, progressive societies, and of vast commercial opportunities. The GCC consists of 6 countries: the Kingdom of Bahrain, the State of Kuwait, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, the State of Qatar, and of course the Sultanate of Oman. So today we want to use this session to provide an opportunity to give the global exhibition industry much deeper and meaningful insights into some of the wide and vast commercial opportunities across the region. Countries that form the GCC all have established ambitious national objectives that support economic, social development, and diversification. So I'm going to start with my first question to the host. So I'm going to put this to you, Syed. Leading on from what His Highness was saying, the Sultanate of Oman has recently announced that it intends to be carbon neutral by 2050. That is a hugely ambitious goal, and that's in addition to existing national objectives such as Oman's Vision 2040, its alignment with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2030. So, Syed, how will these national objectives change the economy? It's a big question, this one, over the next decade, and what are the main areas of the economy that will be central in achieving these ambitious objectives?
It's a big question, but it's also easy to answer because His Royal Highness actually covered a lot of that details. Diversification of the economy is very important, especially we are oil-dependent country in general. And now we're moving towards zero carbon. This means also we're going to differentiate ourselves also in the market by creating other areas of interest in the industry, not just in oil and gas. That's given tourism and then education and other sectors more focus. So I think there is an opportunity for us also, because announcing that from the Sultan himself to put 2050 as our target, set target point, for us now to work towards the 2050, diversifying more, saving more energy, creating more green hydrogens, and then in a very few months from now, or actually very close, as per His Highness also announcement, we'll be able to produce and also export some green hydrogen to other countries as well. It's a great opportunity, I think, from a way that we should position ourselves in the region to be the focus on that, and also create events that also focus around creating more green hydrogen and also zero carbon activities around the country.
Brilliant. Thank you, Syed. Trixie, a question for you. So following on from the success of Expo 2020, What is next, and what are the national objectives of the United Arab Emirates and that of the Emirates of Abu Dhabi and Dubai?
Firstly, I just want to thank everyone for sticking around. I now know how it feels to be placed as the last session in our conferences, and never will we have a last session in any conferences. Michael promised that if all of you stay right through to the end, you get a ticket to FIFA.
Maybe a ball.
I think firstly, I just, being in the region, I want to congratulate the region. It's been, a phenomenal last few years. We had Expo, and then of course we have FIFA World Cup. And next year, and of course now COP is happening in Egypt, and next year we'll have COP28 in UAE. I'm not so sure there's any other regions in the world that is so full of, phenomenal, tremendous, big, large-scale events driven by, the very, very visionary foresights of the leaders. So congratulations to everyone in the room here. I think where UAE is concerned, of course, on the back of the Golden Jubilee last year, when UAE celebrated its 50th anniversary, we launched the principles projects of the 50. And that came with a lot of ambitious pursuits to transform and to accelerate the digital economy, to draw talents, to cultivate more investors, to attract businesses, and of course to encourage a greater entrepreneurship and talent development in the Emirati community as well. So some of the projects include like the 10 by 10 export projects, where they increase 10% of exports to 10 select countries. There's plans to double the national economy to $800 billion. And then there's a lot of visa programs that everyone is aware of, in terms of attracting and retaining and cultivating talents. And looking at some of the sectors going further afield is driven by the UAE innovation strategy. So fintech is a huge one. It's, at the moment UAE tops MENA region, coming in at 2.5 billion. By the end of this year. And I think Abu Dhabi, our colleagues, has rushed back to the Emirates this afternoon, because the Abu Dhabi Finance Week is happening at the moment. Great initiative on fintech as well. Gaming is a huge one, and I think just last week or so, or I think maybe it's ongoing, the Dubai tourism team organized the esports festival. Renewable energies is a huge one, and of course our friend Matt from DMG and his colleagues are huge in that sector. By 2050, just like our colleagues from Oman, a lot of the initiatives, a lot of the electrical energy in the UAE will be driven by renewable sources. Again, looking at some of the interesting sectors that that you may want to explore is the cruise business. The cruise tourism is huge. I think the start of the season just happened, the winter season on October 29th. We're looking at a good 900,000 people coming through, passengers coming through. I think that's going to cross more than 120 ships that's coming on. I was on the taxi yesterday, and the driver was extremely pleased. He said it was really nice. The AIDA just came from Dubai, the cruise ship, so they're seeing a lot of tourists coming in. So I think this is part of that collaboration and increasing the circulation in the region here. And of course, next year we have COP going on. So there's a lot of agenda circulating, chiefly on, again, very broad industries from space as well. Space tourism, not space tourism, but the whole space exploration. In 2018, UAE spent about 1.4% of its GDP in all the space projects, whether it's setting up space stations, whether it's space mining. So that remains one of the very attractive sectors as well. Nascent, but definitely pose a lot of great opportunities for anyone who's looking, for growth. So altogether, a lot of it is in the digital economy, a lot of it is in the ESG space as well, and of course, the traditional sectors altogether in food manufacturing will continue to prevail.
Thanks, Trixie. Michael, certainly the eyes of the world are going to be on Qatar, state of Qatar, in the next few days, certainly if you're an avid football fan. It's obviously, of course, for those that don't know, the FIFA World Cup will be taking place in the state of Qatar. I'm sure everyone's aware. Beyond this, what is the focus of Qatar's National Vision 2030, and what areas of the economy will be a priority for the state of Qatar?
First of all, hello everyone. It's a great pleasure for having me here. I always feel a little bit nervous talking after His Excellency. And among pioneers of the industry, I see among us Rochelle, Johan here. So apologies if any nervous in my tone. So Qatar, we have a World Cup in 4 days, but your question is correct. What's after that, and what is the national vision? The vision is to have an advanced society in Qatar, capable of sustainable development and providing to its citizens and residents an ease of life. So, and high living standards. So what comes after that? Qatar invested a lot in infrastructure, in culture, in medical, in hospitality sectors. So that's make Qatar's proposition even stronger in the region. When it comes to us, and it comes to international event organizers and exhibition organizers, as GCC and Qatar Business Events Corporation, we reflect this through commitment towards interacting, forming global partnerships, which with exhibitors and event organizers that will help us to connect cultures and business together. This is something the event industry, I think, appreciates in Qatar, and it's a key priority in the national strategy 2030. We are confident that exhibitions and meetings sector in Qatar will evolve in new heights. It's going to go higher, and as government and its stakeholders, we constantly strive to higher levels to reach higher and go further. So I'm very confident that focusing on innovation and focusing on entrepreneurship, the way ahead is very glossy.
Perfect. Thank you, Michael. Amjad, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030 aims to use its strategic location to build on its role as an integral driver of international trade and to connect continents of Africa, Asia, and Europe. National Vision is underpinned by 3 visions: a vibrant society, a thriving economy, and an ambitious nation. What are the key areas of the economy that are being developed to support the national objectives, and how will this change the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia?
I'm going to answer this from the perspective of the MICE industry. About a year ago, I announced when I was in Rotterdam that we embarked on an exercise at the Saudi Conventions and Exhibitions General Authority, which we call SEGA for short, on a new strategy for the MICE sector in Saudi Arabia. And of course, we drew on the experiences of other countries, but mainly we wanted to align with Vision 2030. And Vision 2030 takes into consideration certain sectors, whether they were dormant and they need to work on them, whether they're creating opportunities via various vehicles. And basically, that is what we've done. But the unique thing about this strategy is that it is post-pandemic. So hopefully we'll always be pandemic-proof. It has just been approved last week, and now we are going through the final stages of officiating this through the government corridors. So we will be announcing this very soon, but it's extremely ambitious. What I can tell you is that we are going to be looking at highlighting the competitive advantages and the industrial advantages of the various regions of Saudi Arabia. We're going to be developing the MICE industry via various vehicles. First of all, we're going to be building the infrastructure, because what we have right now isn't sufficient. And we are looking at how to incentivize a lot of subfields under MICE. First of all, the PEOs, PCOs, the human capital development is very important for us, not only through education, but through hands-on training. So we have been and still are, and will continue to explore ways of giving our youth hands-on training at various parts of the world. We will continue to be an attractive destination for international companies to come and work in Saudi Arabia in the MICE sector. And we're going to be incentivizing IPs, be it new IPs or existing IPs, to come to Saudi Arabia or to grow from within Saudi Arabia.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much, Amjad. Each of the GCC nations understand the importance and the role that exhibitions can play in supporting their respective economies, as we're hearing from our esteemed panelists. Michael, first question for you in relation to this. Post the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022, what do you expect for your business in 2023 and beyond? What are the reasons for these expectations, and how are Doha Exhibition Convention Centre going to achieve this?
A very good question. Thank you. Thank you for this. I believe DCC, Doha Exhibition Centre, is a key component for the country's overall event activity as the main exhibition centre of the country. Strategically located in the heart of the West Bay, of the business area, of the business center of Doha, we have proximity to major accommodation outlets and more than 20,000 rooms next to us. As Qatar is one of the most resilient and dynamic economies in the world, and in the region, of course, DCC is already witnessing increased demand for 2023. And beyond, this makes us cementing our confidence, and we will be welcoming more and more events in the future. And as we see the calendar that we have for 23 and 24, we are pretty happy and satisfied. And what we want to do is carrying on the 2022 World Cup legacy and the country's stable economic ranking, and as one of the tops. What we do, we work with international organizers, and in addition with new events, we anticipate a gradual but significant growth of the industry. Particularly, I am proud to say that in DCC, we have capitalized the knowledge and experience we gained from FIFA World Cup until now. We have high-level, global high-level events happened in DCC, which gave us the opportunity to learn more, such as the FIFA Final Draw and Congress, which was a unique event. For the first time in the history of FIFA, this event happened in 2 days. Usually it's 6 months between the two events. So this gave us tremendous knowledge, tremendous experience, and it helped us to elevate the quality of the services that we offer to our customers, to exhibition organizers. I have to tell you that the last 7 or 8 months, with the support of our board of directors, we are into a research about the services, the quality of the services, the pricing, and all these elements that composite the final product that we want to offer to the customers. So summarizing this and being in a full operational mode since 1 year now in DCC, we are having strong indications for the future that the next years will be very, very good for DCC. We have companies that they are interested for 5-year agreements, 10 years agreements, and we see synergies coming in Qatar, and we are happy that they choose DCC for this.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael. Amjad, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is seeing significant growth through both established and new exhibitions across the kingdom. What is the main reason for this growth, and how is the government supporting this?
There are very interesting developments as of late. I would attribute this to various factors. I'm going to list them, but not in order of importance. First of all, the visa process has been changed. It has been overhauled dramatically. So there are, I think, 49 nations that can apply for e-visa. So you apply it online, you get it within 3 to 5 minutes, or you apply for it upon arrival and you get it when you get into Saudi Arabia. Plus, the rules for people coming in for Umrah and Hajj have changed, whereby after you come in, you could stay in the country for some time and move about Saudi Arabia, whereas in the past, that was not the case. Also, they've changed the way people from the GCC can enter Saudi Arabia. So right now, we're seeing a flood of visitors. As a matter of fact, the numbers for tourists projected for the year 2030 were revised on a national level. And if I'm not mistaken, they were increased by 40% because of the massive demand that we're seeing. When it comes to exhibitions, in the last 18 months or so, we've changed the way we license the events. It used to take up to 5 days. Now it is mostly taking about, well, I would say 1 hour, but last time I checked it was 34 minutes. And so down from 5 days. And our goal is to go down to 5 minutes. We're hoping to reach real time. That is going to be a tough one, but we're working towards that goal. So, the team, pat on the back, has been doing an incredible job. The growth in Saudi Arabia, all the mega projects are phenomenal. I don't need to speak about them. They speak about themselves. So they're attracting a lot of business. But most and foremost, thank God we enjoy an incredible political and economic stability. And we're, a bedrock in the region and the world. And that attracts capital. Capital always looks for stability. And we have visionary leaders that are crafting for us every day, new ways of doing business, opening up new doors. And people keep talking about 2030, but this demand isn't going to last only until 2030. This demand is going to last beyond, because once we reach that, there is another vision that is in the works. And let me share with you one statistic. Somebody did a pulse check with me mid-year on where we're at in terms of events. And we see in the industry, 2019 is the benchmark. So we projected that by the end of the year, we're going to be 20% above 2019. We were wrong. Serendipity has it, we're going to be 25% above 2019. So we're seeing incredible demand. It is absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you. Some of the products, you said won't reference there. I think we're aware of many of them, huge, significant advertising, but more importantly, the ambition behind that. So thank you, Amjad, for those insights. Syed, personally, as the business head of the Sultanate's most significant exhibition organizer and a key partner of this beautiful venue that we've been very kindly hosted at this week, I'm personally abundantly aware of the growth potential of Oman's exhibition industry and passionately believe in it, as I know that you do as well, Syed. To those that are not as familiar with the Sultanate of Oman's exhibition industry, how would you best convey the commercial opportunity to the global exhibition industry?
I just want to highlight that's important what Trixie and Michael and also Amjad have been talking about. The region has been hosting major events. It's already been either hosted or about to be hosted, or major events and projects that's happening in Saudi Arabia. All of that has actually increased the potential of having more exhibitions in the region. And having all of us align, and also it's not about, as His Excellency was saying, it's not competitive, but it's collaboration and working together as one entity, because each one of the countries in the region actually bring a unique proposition. And Oman has its own unique proposition, being location-wise, the people, the hospitality, and everything we've been talking about, and I think a lot of it we've been experiencing in the last 3 days. Having all those elements together bring us in a very important strategic position. How can we also attract different projects from the region to come to the country? And having the objective of doing more diversification and also green hydrogens, and also focus on different sectors that we haven't been real focused in the past few years, is giving us an opportunity also to attract the market. The challenge we have sometimes is actually how can we educate internally the people of the importance of this business. And including all of those activities that's happening in the region have increased the potential of more tourism and more economical impact of tourism through the MICE to these countries. So that made our job easier, because in the past, a lot of our time has actually been spent on how to tell them what's the importance of bringing events to the countries. And now having all of these events and all these projects cut that way almost half. Now it's about how can we bring unique propositions, how can we bring an advantage, how can we also add value to all of them. So in Oman, we see that is actually an opportunity, and I think collaboration with other countries in the region will bring more attraction, and yourself as an exhibitor or an organizer will see others also coming, maybe more collaboration with you or others to grow the profiles to even bigger profiles that not just meet the demand of this market, but the demand of the region.
Thank you, Syed, and I look forward to our continued partnership as well. That's definitely blossoming. Trixie, the United Arab Emirates is home to some of the world's leading exhibitions and some of the largest. What makes the United Arab Emirates so attractive, and what are the commercial benefits, including any subvention funds or incentive schemes across the United Arab Emirates?
So it's interesting that you asked me this question, because as Dubai World Trade Center, we have never gotten $1 of subvention from Dubai Tourism Department. But I hope the rest of you will get it. I think just on this note about tourism, business tourism, and the attractiveness of where it all stands. So UAE in the last few days have just announced the UAE tourism strategy for 2031. So it aims to unify the UAE tourism sector to bring in 40 million of hotel guests to the UAE. And what it means is it's going to be contributing up to about $127 million towards the GDP, standing at about 50 at the moment, billion. So all things said, if you look at the number of hotel rooms that's available in the UAE, it's about 180,000 at the moment. It is well placed to serve the MICE global community. But at the same time, Dubai Tourism and of course Abu Dhabi Tourism, and of course our colleagues in RAK, in Ras Al Khaimah as well, is also working very hard. They are of course bringing the integrated wind resort, I think in 4 years' time. Big investment. There's a big convention center that's being set up as well, exhibition and convention center. I met up with them recently. Very exciting plans that they have in place already that's coming up. So that will give the UAE a very good proposition from Dubai to Abu Dhabi, our friends from Sharjah as well, and of course in RAK. So on that note, at least just in terms of Dubai tourism, I'm sure it's the same for the other convention bureaus as well. They reference the UAE National Innovation Strategy a lot. So if you are bringing in an event, whether it's existing or new, generally I think the preference is for new events who are coming in that needs that little uplift. If you are in the transportation sector, water, space, health, education, renewable energies, in those kind of sectors, and of course, going by the size, the reference, the benchmarking where you come from, they do extend support. So the bias is always there towards the new events coming on. And it's not a myth, they do give out subventions, but just like all the other counterparts here as well, to give them that kind of first lending hand to kickstart. But again, just looking at the overall landscape and the growth of how business tourism will contribute to this 2031 wider UAE tourism strategy, I think that there remains a lot of opportunities for everyone looking to come into the market, because I would expect the next few months or so to get a lot of kind of a guidance in terms of the initiatives and new opportunities for our global community here to kind of explore the market and the region altogether.
Thank you, Trixie. As the world exits from a period of sustained a period of downturn, predominantly due to the global pandemic, it finds itself facing a turbulent economic and geopolitical. We aren't going to end on a downer, I will ensure, throughout the world. Despite this pessimistic backdrop, the economic outlook for the nations of the GCC remains very positive. Trixie, coming back to you on this one, the United Arab Emirates is a well-established global exhibition hub, as we've been hearing. What are going to be the main challenges for the United Arab Emirates in maintaining this current position, its appeal, and how will they be overcome?
A very relevant question here. I think firstly we need to look at the Chinese investors, the Chinese business community. We're missing out on a lot of them, I think, in this part of the world. So we look forward to them rejoining the fraternity soon into our events of different industries. I think some events have been more affected than the others. Inflation continues to be a problem for us. The strong US dollar versus the euro, we're already seeing some pullback from some countries. So I expect that to last for maybe the next 24 months at least. And we're very highly dependent on some of these emerging markets as well in Africa and where else. While we have a good, sizable capacity in hotels and all, And of course, Dubai airports is gone up to, I think in terms of the international tourists coming into Dubai at the moment, we are standing at 85% of pre-COVID. I think by the end of this year, we should be on par or exceeding. But saying that, Dubai, again, Dubai Airport has been voted the busiest international airport by international passengers in the world this year. So it's a good achievement. At the same time, what it means for us in the MICE industry is everything is becoming a bit more expensive, from hotels to travelers coming in. So instead of sending in 4, people might just send in 1 person now. And on the other side of it is there's so many events going on, and this is me speaking as an organizer, not behalf of any entities per se. There's a lot of events going on in Dubai, even in Abu Dhabi to some extent. So there's a lot of competition amongst different events, whether it's a live event, whether it's a consumer event, whether it's a business event, or whether there's some activations in the city. You're almost trying to pull the same crowd, the same target audience to your event. And that becomes very difficult and challenging for an organizer to now be able to stand out. You know, and not many organizers have that big marketing budget. We are not spared. I think the last time when we did the motor show, I think in November or December, it was tough. There were 5 different events going on. There's a big concert that was running. There was another live event running somewhere else, and then there was a business conference. Tough. So it's very diluted. The pool of people remains quite similar. So in that regard, I find it extremely challenging as an organizer from that perspective. But beyond that, you know, the infrastructure continues to build, the capacity continues to build. So I think there needs to be maybe a bit of a regulation adjustment in terms of what goes on in the city. I think having more sometimes is not necessarily better for some of us. Less is probably a bit more comfortable. Balance, harmony.
Thanks, Trixie. And thanks for that very honest take on it, because I think if you look at somewhere like Dubai that has been phenomenally successful, there's going to be pain points and they need to be addressed. So thank you for that honest response there. Amjad, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is entering a period of significant economic development and investment. What challenges will the Kingdom face in the short term, and how will these be navigated?
We have a lot of businesses opening up in Saudi Arabia, and a lot of opportunities are springing up every day as we speak. So with that, you need people. So human capital, seasoned human capital is the biggest challenge. The rest is a piece of cake. But you know, I would say that is what we are focusing a lot of our time on. At Sega, we are paying a lot of attention to how, and I alluded to this in my earlier response, we're paying a lot of attention as to how we're going to be dealing with the human capital challenge. And it's not just about sending, you know, kids to college. It's not just about giving people a certificate, you've gone through this training or that. It is about equipping people with hands-on training so that they can uplift the industry, be it MICE or other sectors. And also, a big focus of the government is on creating the widest space possible for SMEs in all sectors possible. So in our industry, we'd like to see a lot of SMEs grow, and we're seeing that. We're seeing a lot of young Saudi females and males starting their own businesses and becoming tour guides, providing this and that service, using, you know, technology to scale up, which is really great. Our job is to guide them, support them. We have a subvention fund that is in the works right now. We're getting the approvals, like I said, through government corridors so that we can help them. So we're looking at how to support the human capital growth at various levels. SMEs, college training, on-the-job training, sending people abroad, bringing in people to train them, you know, and sitting with POs and PCOs and you know, examining their pain points, because we don't want to do something theoretical. The last thing you want is some government guy sitting across from you. So this is what we believe you need. No, it's the other way around. We're public servants. We serve the public, so we need to listen from the public to what is it that they need, and that is what we've been doing. We will continue to do.
Perfect. Thank you, Amjad. Side, the Sultanate of Oman is heavily invested in economic diversification and increasing national and foreign investment. What do you see as the main challenges in the next 5 years for the Sultanate, and what role will the private sector play in mitigating these challenges?
I think some of the obvious challenges, and that's been addressed in multiple international platforms, is the government awareness of the sector like this one and the regulations and the policies around them. I mean, it's amazing to see an achievement in Saudi Arabia that actually decreased the licensing and approvals to like just 35 minutes. And here we're working very closely with the regulators as well to have a better automated platform for people to get approvals easier and faster, especially when it's related to different sectors, not just one consumer sector, so other also industries. So one is a regulation, support from the government, better subvention policies to also attract international events. And it's important also to have an economical focus in certain areas, like given the energy or industry or different industries like logistic or tourism or others. I think what Oman is missing also is an anchor show, one show that actually brings everyone together to the country. We have a lot of different shows that today collect different segments from all over different industries. But if you look in Dubai as an example, or Saudi Arabia as an example, there's shows that is actually anchored for the city, that's actually connected to the city, and a lot of thousands of people go and travel to the destination to enjoy those shows. So that is one thing, is the regulations, having an anchor project, focus economy in certain areas, and also attracting more tourism through destination marketing. And also Oman, as we've been discussing in the last few days, a lot of people first time in Oman, and that's great because you come, you took the risk somehow to be here, but it's actually a pleasant risk because now you discover that's actually a destination for you to visit, not just one time, but maybe 2 times, maybe 5 times, maybe that should be your next family destination. So now, when you trust that destination, you are now able to say, okay, I want to bring my business next time. I want to bring my show the next time. So you broke that curse in terms of like, I really don't know that destination. So destination marketing is also important. And when you do destination marketing, you can't just lobby it from one side. You need everyone and the whole ecosystem to work with you. That's given the ROP for immigration and visas, the government to attract businesses, and also direct foreign investors to actually see all of those sectors coming together. The most important for any investor is to be able to put his money in a place where he's going to be able to grow his money. So you want the government also to advertise for it, to push for it, to create mass for it, and also attract more businesses for them. So that is what we've been working with, and I think in the last few years with the Oman Investment Fund and also Oman Investment Authority bring more forecast and more emphasis in the companies they work under them, we see now more tractions, and we see a lot of investment coming from Saudi Arabia, a lot of that coming from Qatar and Emirates, and also international investors. So I think we're on the right track. In the next 5 years, there'll be some challenges, but I think we're starting to build the infrastructure for that.
Thank you, Syed. Michael, as the immediate economic benefits of the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 tail off, what do you see as the main challenges for the state of Qatar, and what role can the exhibitions industry play?
I am in the industry since 2006, actively. And I participated in many UFI Congresses since those days. For me, what I see is that always the global political and economic challenges are the ones, with no doubt, is the major factor of volatility in our business. So this is circles. Now, what comes specifically in Qatar and the GCC, the challenges that we have as one of the main pillars to attract business to our venue and subsequently to the country is the global environment. This affects the business, their income, the exhibitors, and subsequently the organizers. This morning we were discussing that as more and more exhibitors are delaying to give an answer of participation to the organizers. The organizers, from their turn, delay to give answers to the exhibition centers, so about the booking calendar. So this creates uncertainty in a lot of things and planning ahead for a venue, but also for MICE. I fully agree with what my colleagues earlier said, that we need an ecosystem. And I am glad to say that in Qatar, we have that ecosystem, and we have a huge support from the major stakeholders in the country for MICE industry. My colleagues are here from Qatar Tourism. I am coming from Qatar Tourism as well prior to my current role. And the efforts that they put is tremendous. Effortless time spent by my colleagues, and we can see the results. We together, we invested in a new project, and which will be launched in 2023. It's the Qatar Geneva Motor Show, first time in the region. So we couldn't have done this without the cooperation with Qatar Tourism and Qatar Airways. So it's pillars that they are necessary to cooperate, not only for Qatar, but for each country, so we will have results. Coming back to the venue, we have a venue incentive scheme, which every year we take the feedback from our customers, and we are trying to improve with our board of directors and, of course, the authority that we are reporting to. And it's important to have the subvention fund, as Amjad said before, and being able to help organizers, especially to their first steps. It's very important for the first 1 or 2, even 3 years, to support them, to build the show, make the show sustainable, and being able to last, to bear all this volatile environment that we see recently. The past 2 years have given us certainly a lot of learning to our industry, and we believe that Qatar can convert those experiences into something very positive. Summarizing all this in Qatar, what we are focusing is new sectors and key sectors like education, sports, health and medical, energy, science, technology. We have engineering, architecture. All of these are sectors that the country and the government invested, and we are here as one of the parts of the puzzle to help and support people that they want to invest in this, and we were confident that in investing in Qatar, by their presence in events, they will have the support from our side that they are looking for. And this is, I believe, how we believe we differentiate ourselves. And as a Doha Exhibition Center, we can support the efforts of the event exhibition and event organizers through their unparalleled network of Qatar Airways, more than 115 destinations all over the world. We have Hamad Airport, which is awarded this year as the best airport in the world. It recently had a new opening, a new expansion. We have visa-free entry for 95 countries. And of course, I have to mention again the support of Qatar Tourism, which is very important for all the organizers, and not only for Doha Exhibition Center, but for any venue in Qatar. And either it's a convention center or it's a venue that belongs to hotels only for conferences. The support that all the industry receives is huge. I have to say that currently we have 180 hotels, and the plans are for more than 100 to come after World Cup. So life doesn't stop after World Cup in Qatar. But with the support of these 3 entities, I see that the challenges we can overcome all the challenges and offer to exhibition organizers and organizers the opportunity to make business and real business in Qatar. So it doesn't matter if they are PCOs or DMCs or event organizers or exhibition organizers. all of them, they can come, we can discuss, they can find the response that they are looking for in Doha. And of course, having flagship events like our Doha Jewelry and Exhibition, Watches Exhibition, or the Qatar Geneva Motor Show, I think this kind of events are helping generally the region, not only Qatar. And maybe it's not the right time, maybe it's the right time. We can see how can we better cooperate destinations in sharing some of the parts of that composite one exhibition, one successful event, so everyone can benefit subsequently from these opportunities.
Thank you, Michael. That draws this panel session to an end. So thank you to stay until the end as well. I appreciate we've overrun somewhat. A big thank you to the panelists that hopefully have provided you with some invaluable insights into the region and really portray the genuinely vast opportunities for the global exhibition industry. I'd also like to congratulate UFI on a wonderful event and to Said and his team for hosting us in a spectacular venue in what is a beautiful country. So thank you, Said, and congratulations to you and your team. But thank you, everyone.